What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, my sister,
Annika,
my brother,
Eric,
and my friend,
Dad.
And this week, you guys, we're continuing our MCU rewind, and we're going to review Captain America, the First Avenger. Ooh. So I will start off by saying it's one of my favorite MCU movies. Like it's like there are a lot of better ones, so it's not towards the top anymore. But I really do like this movie.
I do too. Like rewatching it yesterday, I've like forgot how much I enjoyed this movie. It is really good. I think they did it well.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it is one of my favorite MCU movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different. Back in the 50s, you know what I'm saying? You definitely got that vibe. The film, the way they filmed it, kind of gave you like that old timey.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's right.
Using the noir technique to it, where everything's a little darker, a little grayer, kind of adds to the fact that it's taken back in the 1940s and stuff. I thought it was a nice touch to it. It kind of give it a different feel than all of your standard superhero movies. It
does give it a different feel. I was gonna say, you don't find it weird that like all these movies, when things are in the past, that like there's a sepia tone over the movie, like the past actually had different colors.
I think it's because they didn't invent color until like 1980. We know that, right? I mean,
that's right.
Everything was like gray, brown, and green.
No, everything was actually black and white. Like people saw in black and white until the 80s. So,
like, oh hey, whoa!
Yeah, I mean that's true. Most old movies do have that movies that was taking place in the past have that kind of like shading to it. But this movie, I think it fit nicely.
Yeah, it did. It definitely worked.
It did. It definitely did. Like I was like even like when you see it in the film, you really feel like, you know, hey, I'm back in the 50s. You know what I'm saying? And Captain America, the war going. They talk like they was in the 50s. I mean, you know, the whole vibe was the 50s.
Yeah, well, 40s.
The storyline of the movie was, 40s.
Yeah.
But yes, and the storyline of the movie was, you know, spot on, kept your attention. It wasn't really, I can't really think of any like boring moments in the movie because everything was like kind of key.
Yeah, there definitely weren't any boring movements.
Right. Even for a movie that didn't have a ton of action in it, it was still good. Like, I think it's just a lot of character development, which went really well, especially when like a lot of the characters became instantly likable, like Peggy Carter, obviously Captain America, Bucky. Like, instantly you kind of like go attached to these characters right away, even though it wasn't a really like blow 'em up, shoot 'em up movie. The overall story in it was just pretty good.
Yeah, casting in this movie, great. I mean, Chris Evans, even though like when they announced that you doubted his ability to play Captain America based on his previous movies, but you saw his range as an actor in this movie, and he was a perfect choice for Captain America. Peggy Carter, like you mentioned, Haley Atwell killed that. You got Tommy Lee Jones, which we mentioned in our rewatch, but like, man, he fits that role perfectly. You just need Tommy Lee Jones being Tommy Lee Jones.
I mean, the best lines of the movies were from Tommy Lee Jones.
Absolutely.
He had like three of them.
Yeah.
Like this guy is really killing this part though.
Yeah, and then Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull.
Oh yeah, perfect choice.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
everything was just solid. Everything was just solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I thought it was interesting, even though this movie, like all the other Marvel movies up to then, had taken place in the modern day. So now this is your first movie in the past, and there were a lot of stuff that tied it into the rest of the Marvel universe, which, like, that was amazing. Like that they were able to do that, and of course they continue to do that down to this day. But like that type of stuff is why Marvel has taken off so much.
Yeah. Well, what they did was, and I was going to bring this up later on, is that since Josh Whedon was working on the Avengers, they gave him the script to Captain America, and so then he wrote parts of it. Like overall, the movie was fantastic, just so that it can continue to connect overall with the MCU. And I think that's pretty smart. And it's like we heard stories about how he did that for other movies. You know, it was like Infinity War did that with Black Panther. It's like, hey, tell us about what Wakanda is in the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way, if you're going to have this overall universe, you have to do that. You have to communicate with the other actors, the other directors, to make sure everything stays connected.
And that's... I was going to say that's a good way to try to give the directors freedom, because we've heard about how some of the directors didn't like working with Marvel because they felt like their hands were tied on a lot of stuff. And I think doing it that way, like you mentioned Black Panther, it allows the director to make his own movie. But since now you know what movie he's making, and as long as there's nothing major, like, okay, they killed this character, we want them to keep this character alive. As long as there's nothing like that, then you get the best of both worlds. The director gets to make his movie, and you get to keep it in the same continuity, which is pretty good. So I'm glad they're doing that more today. I know there were some movies like Ant-Man where I don't know what it was that because Ant-Man still turned out to be a good movie, so I'm not sure what it was that the director disagreed with. But you had that, and then of course I think Joss Whedon after the second Avengers.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, casting was pretty good. We talked about the lighting, or not the lighting, the way the
coloring.
The coloring of the movie.
One point about that, what I was thinking is, it what makes it even better is that because most of the movie takes place in the 40s, right, between 1942 and 1945. But at the end, it jumps to 2012, and I think that when all of a sudden you see that color shift, kind of adds to all of a sudden you realize like Captain America is in a whole different world now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like it just that pop, like it makes you feel it, the big difference in the movie. It's a good point. I was thinking when they had him in that room when we were watching it, I'm like, because the buildings, I know they weren't, but they looked like they were black and white, like the pictures of the buildings outside of his his fake window. So, yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, did they in the 40s, was everything actually black and white?
It really was.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I wasn't there, so I couldn't say it.
Right.
I always imagine that's the way it was, though. Like people would see things in black and white. That's just the way it was. It's the only thing I can imagine. Like I can't picture the 40s being as vibrant and colorful as things are today. I just can't.
It wasn't. There's no way. It wasn't.
It had to be.
I just can't.
Like, no, every car was like black or gray.
Yeah, every car was black. Well, I mean, didn't they find like different dyes and stuff?
Black isn't black and white, and we think it's black and gray.
No, those cars were black.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, you especially if you had a blue car.
Yeah. Well, interesting. A lot of colors. Like if you think about lighting, they just recently, like in our lifetime, came up with a blue LED, right? Like, and that changed everything. That's how we have the TVs that we have now and all that, because you couldn't do it without a blue LED. So, yeah, like it's, they had those covers obviously, but they weren't able to use some of the vibrant colors. Some of the dyes were harder to come by and stuff.
I think they were just tacky and didn't know it.
Okay. But yeah, we were talking about that during Captain America. Like you had that scene when Peggy Carter came in with the red dress on.
Right.
And
everything else was brown.
Literally, everyone was wearing brown. The building was brown.
think that was kind of the point of the scene, but it was still because it stood out. Like, oh yeah, there is no color in this world.
Yeah, that's how life was like back in the 40s, man. Real life was not in HD.
Yeah, I will say every fan we had born in 1940-ish, whatever, they hate us.
Do we have fans that born in 1940?
Still here?
That's
yes, they're still here.
Yeah, it's only 80 years ago.
Are still here?
Yes.
I don't think they can figure out how to turn on a phone. They get this.
Oh,
gosh, that is ageist.
no, I do not agree with that statement he just said.
Most people.
I'm leaving
Nope.
you out of this.
Nope.
Technology
I will not agree with your ageism, sir.
on air. On air, you won't.
All right. So yeah, well, Danica, what other stuff did you have about the Captain America
All
movie?
right, let's start off with our casting what ifs. Obviously they really wanted Chris Evans, obviously, but there were some other people's names that got thrown around in there. Sebastian Stan was one of them.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I love you as Bucky. I can see that though. I ain't mad at that.
I don't think he's got the, Chris Evans got the chiseled jaw for Captain America.
American face.
Yeah. While Sebastian Stan, I think, would have worked for the part, he doesn't have that chiseled jaw going for him.
Yeah. The other two people was Ryan Phillippe. I think he has too much of a baby face, even though he's like 40 something. And
He's way too old. I said he's way too old then, right?
He is 40 something, isn't he? He wouldn't have been 40 back then. I'm just saying that. I mean, he looks the same as he did.
He was
20 years ago.
in Secrets and Lies, right?
Yes, and he was also in The Lincoln Lawyer. If you ever seen that.
Okay, nah, yeah, I wouldn't have chose him for Captain America. Good actor though.
Yeah, but just not. He can't picture that. And then John Krasinski was the other one, which I could definitely see.
Yeah, I could see that.
Definitely see. Yeah, yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
I still hope we get him for Mr. Fantastic.
I think he's the perfect choice for Mr. Fantastic.
And he may make Mr. Fantastic actually interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard to make the Fantastic Four interesting. I don't know why people like them so much.
Well, we said the same thing about making Iron Man interesting.
I feel like they are like next to the Inhumans, like the most dumbest heroes in the Marvel universe. I really don't see their relevance.
They have none.
That's Marvel's family, right? Or is that the same?
I don't know. I know they're really popular for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
I guess they're pointless.
We did say before Iron Man came out that you couldn't make Iron Man interesting.
I don't think I said it couldn't make Iron Man interesting. I was uninterested in watching it. But
I didn't think
the Fantastic Four as a whole is boring.
Yeah, but I say if any studio can make a good movie out of these characters, it's Marvel.
Well, they are Marvel's characters.
Plus, I mean, who doesn't want Doctor Doom in the MCU?
Just give me Doctor Doom. I don't need the other four.
Okay.
Give me Doctor Doom and the Silver Surfer.
But
That's all I
he's
need.
the main villain, though. So
No, he can fight whoever he needs to fight.
The thing is, if they've done Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom twice already. If you do it again, don't use Doctor Doom. Just don't. Like, don't
you
do
do the
it.
Fantastic Four without Doctor Doom, though?
I think they're gonna have to.
Fantastic
Well,
Four.
you try to do Dr. Doom without Fantastic Four. So
You're better off doing Doctor Doom without the Fantastic Four. Put him in the next Spider-Man movie. Problem solved.
Doom and Spider-Man.
I don't know.
No,
Yes, you can.
I mean, Spider-Man. Does Spider-Man beat Doctor Doom by himself?
God.
Wasn't he in... Spider-Man can't beat nobody by himself.
Can anyone beat Doctor Doom by themselves?
No, they can't.
Magneto?
Okay.
That would be so unfair. That is so unfair. This is not fair.
Oh boy.
Like, come on, man.
Now that's funny.
All right, what are the other casting stuff?
Okay, Emily Blunt turned down the role for Peggy Carter. Is this the second role she turned down for a Marvel movie?
She got turned down for Black Widow, right?
She turned that down for Black Widow. I think she turned down Black Widow and Peggy Carter. She too good for the MCU? Is that what she's saying?
No, because she said she would be willing to play Sue Storm.
So why did she turn down Peggy Carter? Or does she only want to be Sue Storm if old boy is Mr. Fantastic?
I don't know. So to help husband and wife do well?
Yeah.
No, I thought she just didn't get chosen for Black Widow. I don't think she turned it down.
I don't save my notes, so I can't go back and say. I should start saving these. I don't.
Okay. I mean, Peggy Carter, I don't know. Maybe the role just wasn't big enough for her. I don't know. I mean, Emily Blunt is a big name, right?
Yeah. She too special. Okay. I mean, she didn't need to be Peggy Carter. I mean, like you said, she has a career.
Yeah. What was she doing at the time? Because, like, maybe she did something different.
She's probably doing something Oscar-worthy, I bet.
Probably.
I don't know. Let me look it up. Emily Blunt.
What was this, 2011?
Yeah. And then the other actress considered was Keira Knightley. A no to that.
No. I would rather have Haley Atwell, although I didn't know who she was before this. Still,
she wasn't doing nothing special. She was in the Adjustment Bureau, the Muppets. She wasn't doing nothing special.
She was in the Muppets.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in the Muppets.
Really?
Was she a voice or something? What was she doing?
Yeah, she was Miss. No. She was the person. She was the person.
I remember seeing it in the trailers for the Muppets.
Yeah, and she was in Romeo and Juliet. She should have definitely been Captain America.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, Romeo.
Yes.
It was a little cartoon movie with the gnomes.
Ah. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Don't waste your time. I mean, the Adjustment Bureau wasn't bad, but I guess that might have took her a lot of time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she could have definitely did Captain America. That's what she was doing.
Oh, she's in the new Mission Impossible movies coming up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like a CIA agent or something?
Oh, is she going to replace Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible?
Well, that would be cool.
I'll be okay with that, actually.
Yeah.
Why do we always try to replace characters in movies?
Because Tom Cruise is old.
100 years old.
Yeah.
Why would we just end Mission Impossible when he's done?
It's making too much money. Ain't about to end it.
Yeah. You milk the cow until it doesn't make money anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it starts shooting dust.
Oh, that milk turns to powder.
I mean, that's just one way to put it, you know. That's one way to put it. Milk the cow till it starts shooting dust. That's how you know it's over.
That is the worst analogy.
I'm with you, Darren.
She was in Cinderella, but that was after Captain America.
Yeah, so she wasn't doing nothing around that time.
Cinderella.
Not that Cinderella. Alright. Random movie facts. This is the second lowest grossing movie in the MCU, which is disappointing.
That is disappointing. It should be Thor: The Dark World.
It should be Thor: The Dark World.
Y'all really hating on something?
It is the worst movie in the MCU. Did we pick something else to be worse than it? I don't think we did.
I thought it was the Hulk. You didn't?
The Incredible Hulk? No, I like the Incredible Hulk better than Thor: The Dark World.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's a little disappointing. It's definitely a better movie than I think it's maybe because probably people like Captain America. He's kind of cheesy, which in the comic books he really was cheesy.
Which is why I hated him.
I always liked him.
America.
Huh?
In the comic books, no one likes Captain America.
That's because y'all some haters. Captain America's awesome.
My son knows two superheroes, and that's Batman and Spider-Man. He does not recognize Captain America.
You're not doing your job.
No. No.
It's time to get him to be watching these movies. I catch him up.
Mhm.
Oh. All right. No, not yet. Okay. I think he's old enough.
Oh yeah, in 2011, Emily Blunt was in the Adjustment Bureau.
That's what I said.
Oh, did you? Okay, my bad. Yeah. So if she turned down this for Adjustment Bureau, I probably understand.
You think it was okay. It's not the greatest. Oh, but you know who else was in that movie? Falcon.
Was he in that movie?
Yeah, Papa Doc. Yeah, he was in that movie.
Oh yeah. What do you know? I'm Magic called him that.
I couldn't think of his real name. I just
Anthony Mackie.
Yes, that's what it is. I knew it started with an A, and I wanted to say Aaron, but I'm like, it's not Aaron. Yes, Anthony Mackie.
Aaron.
I'm sorry, I know who he is. I just couldn't think of it right now. Okay, so Marvel decided, because like we were saying, Captain America is kind of cheesy, a lot of propaganda, fighting Nazis or whatever. Mm-hmm. So Marvel did make the effort to disconnect Hydra from Nazis in the movie.
Right.
Even though there was like a little tidbit about Hitler and a little tidbit about the Nazis, they didn't really want to make it about that. That's why it's kind of like Hydra is their own thing, basically, instead of like a division of the Nazi gene.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. All right, it doesn't matter if they're Nazis, does it?
Oh, but I guess, I don't know. You don't want to offend some people, or maybe they thought it was too cheesy.
Offend who? Nazis?
I don't know, but they didn't want to go that route.
Okay.
Maybe they thought that everyone would be happy if we didn't do that. Because, like Captain America's comments is just like, America's the greatest. And maybe they didn't want to do that in this movie.
I mean, that's fine and all. That doesn't mean you don't have to say the Nazis are bad. Look, 90% of the world can agree that Nazis are the bad guys. Like, I'm pretty sure. We know that there's there's those few people, but majority of us can just flat out agree that Nazis are the bad guys. We don't need to cover that up.
True indeed. But I mean, I do so even though they changed that part, they did make an effort to keep his original costume in the movie. But it just says Captain America is one of the few superheroes where his costume hasn't changed since the 40s.
True.
It has been basically the same. Even when they modernized it with the more army regulating looking one, it still had the stripes, the red, white, and blue, the star, the little helmet thing. So I thought that was cool that they did that, and I do like the fact that they even threw in the old one with the little wings on the side.
Oh yeah, he had the wings on the helmet.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to do it. So
yeah, but I agree. I think the costumes were really good in this movie, especially his final costume with the army uniform mixture. I thought that looked really well. It worked well.
Oh, I was thinking when I heard Captain America, I'm like, how are they gonna make that look good? Because drawing something is one thing, but in real life, I'm like, that's gonna be real bad.
It's funny. It's funny how the movies have come along, because when we started with our superhero movies, we just didn't used to do it. We put Batman in rubber, right? And then, which I guess that's a choice. Superman, we just tried to go straight comics. It doesn't look good. And then you had the X-Men come out in 2000s, and it's so we're afraid to do the color, so we just put them in black leather.
It would basically inflate although I gotta say, Marvel to me has some of the best costume designers.
Yeah.
I mean, you look and see what they did in Thor, what they did in Black Panther. They have some of the best costume designers.
They found a way to make it as comic accurate as they can, while also making it work on screen.
When you think of Loki's little horn helmet, that's the stupidest thing in the world, but it worked.
Yeah.
It doesn't
totally did.
It fits, it doesn't stand out where it's just okay, that's stupid. Why is he even wearing that? You don't even.
It's just like
that.
Like Mysterio's fishbowl, you're like, man, are they gonna do that? And they did it, and I didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Actually, his
I
costume looked good. You know what? The key was just putting making it texturized. Like, okay, if we go back to Superman from what, the 60s, was it?
No, with why can't I think today? Yes, Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, that's 60s, right?
Okay.
I don't know. You know when that Superman came out, audience. That Superman. You know, they tried to make it accurate when it comes to color, but spandex on human bodies don't look good.
No.
No matter how muscular you are. So, like you've got when you bring that into the modern era when they've done Superman, and I'm not talking about Superman Returns because even that looked okay, but not the best.
Not fantastic.
Yeah.
Superman was 1978. Why does it look so horrible?
No, yeah, you would think it'd be better. What other movies in 78? Well, I mean, how did you do
Alien?
Flying in 78, right?
Alien was 78, wasn't it?
They used puppets in Alien.
Well, it looked pretty good.
It did look good.
Aliens was 79.
It's interesting. Yeah, Superman looks way older than Alien.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I upset a lot of people by saying 60s. My bad.
Like a 1960s movie.
They were like, oh, this millennial. But yeah, so like the way they've come together with these costumes and making it look realistic while being comic accurate, I think really worked, because we came from an era where we just put everyone in leather because we were afraid of color. So I think this is really good.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it a lot. All right. Chris Evans declined the role 3 times because he was afraid of what the sudden increase of fame would do to his personal life. Yeah. But
wow, that is a wholesome reason to decline.
Yeah.
That's a Captain America reason to decline.
I know. I'm afraid of too much fame.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. Fame sucks. Let's be real.
He has a good point. Like, going from relatively unknown to all of a sudden people are obsessed with you. Yeah. That sucks.
Sure, that's
That
what they
sucks.
say.
But I mean, he got that paper though. But you know, money isn't everything.
I mean, not compared to Robert Downey Jr. Up until recently, he was getting paid like $1 million per movie, I think.
Yeah, more than $1 million a movie.
More than $1 million.
But Chris Evans.
RDJ?
No, I was talking about Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, no.
He got paid $300,000 for this movie.
Yeah, he only got paid $300,000 for this movie.
Which still is enough. I'll be fine. If I played in one movie and got paid $300,000 for it, I'll be cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah, but he got a 6-picture deal out of that.
True.
Which is cool. And then his pay is definitely more than $300,000 now. You gotta start off small because you don't know how well it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think for Avengers, like RDJ got probably like 10 million or something, and then the other people only got $1 million.
And then after that, RDJ got the sun, the moon, and the stars for every movie he played in.
$50 million. Didn't he get that for Infinity War? I'm pretty sure $50 million.
Oh, yeah. There's something he doesn't have to act anymore.
Plus, he has worked in his contract that he gets a percentage of the movie proceeds.
And Disney get to fly in his furniture to be in his trailer because apparently
of course. Why not?
But the thing is, Disney has to pay for this? Dude, you just got $50 million. Fly in your own couch.
Dude, can you imagine? Infinity War and Endgame both made over $1 billion, and you get a percentage of that. 1% of that is enough. Like 1% is $10 million, is it? Yeah, like that's insane.
Wow, and I imagine he was getting more than 1%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Someone broke it down for how much he made, but it's a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're loaded.
All right. Yeah.
He can actually be Tony Stark in real life.
He's not that rich. Because if you continuously make Iron Man suits, if you're just a millionaire, that's going to break you.
Mhm. Yeah. John Favreau was originally chosen to direct this film, but he chose to do Iron Man instead. I think that's better because
I think that's a better fit. Yeah.
He wanted to make this a buddy comedy, and I'm just like, when I hear that, I think Rush Hour, and I'm like, nah. So yeah, definitely better for it.
I think Captain America benefited from being a serious movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm glad that. Yeah, it was better that way. So for Marvel to make Skinny Steve, but they didn't want to use 100% CGI, which was great. I wish you guys would go back to doing that. The scenes with Skinny Steve were shot 4 times. Once with Chris Evans and everyone in the scene, and then when he was in it with everyone else, they would either lower Chris Evans or raise everyone else up to make him seem smaller.
Okay.
Then they shot it once with Chris Evans alone in the green screen. And they shot it again with everyone in the scene but no Chris Evans. Then they shot it again with a body double who mimicked all of Chris Evans' moves. And they said they did that so that when they put it into the computer, the guys who scrunched them up a little bit would have everything they needed just in case.
Yeah, that hearing you say all that made that a lot easier, especially since you got Chris Evans against the green screen, so that makes rotoscoping easier to cut him out and put him into the scene, and you have the empty scene, which helps. Plus, you got him filmed with the people there, so you have his shadows and stuff. It takes a lot to do.
I mean, that's a lot of effort, but I think it was great because it didn't look unreal that you had this, 5'6", 90-pound guy,
Yeah.
So it didn't look fake at all. It looked pretty good. So,
Side note, there were people who, when they watched, before the movie came in theaters, the pre-screening, they thought that Chris Evans' muscles was CGI. Like when he came out of the little chamber.
I mean,
they were like, "How'd you CGI that?" And they're like, "No, that's him."
I mean, that is Chris Evans at his best.
It's like,
saying. Except for the helicopter scene and all.
Oh yeah.
Sebastian is taller.
What's that?
They're the same height. Sebastian Stan and Chris Evans are the same height, so they did a camera trick to make Captain America look taller than Bucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Same.
Yep, we know.
Okay. Oh, why not make them the same height?
Because Captain America's supposed to be taller.
Oh.
And bigger.
Okay.
Because they're saying like the average World War II soldier was 5'8" and 140 pounds.
Okay. So make him like 6'2".
Right. So he's 6'2", 240, I think, something like that. So he's definitely he was massive compared to the average person.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
All right. Originally, there was going to be cameos for Wolverine and Magneto, but because of right issues, they had to scrap that idea. Disappointing. That would have been cool, but they didn't have the rights.
Would have been cool.
That
would have been pretty dope.
Definitely would have been nice.
Yeah. But, Yep. Fox still owned it, so they couldn't do it. Fox could have sold them that. It was just for a cameo. Come on now.
Well, they're gonna be like, we're not a part of your universe. Do we really want the Fox X-Men universe to be part of this? I know it has its fans, but let's be real.
No,
only 40% of that universe is good.
Okay.
What's that?
The other in the X-Men movie? Besides Patrick Stewart, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you Ian McKellen and what's his face? I forget his name now. The other Magneto.
Okay, yes, fine.
And
Them
James
two?
McAvoy. I'll give you those.
I don't think I'd like him. I don't think he was a good
chick that
Professor
played
X.
Jean Grey in the first set. And
the woman?
Oh, Famke Jemison, or is that her name? Yeah.
Anybody could have played Jean Grey, though. I don't think she was a perfect fit for that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's cool, but
I
she
liked her in the
wasn't perfect
role, but yeah, I could, like, if you replaced her with somebody, I wouldn't have mind.
No, yep. Anybody could have did that.
MCU, when they do the X-Men, not do Phoenix. Like, can we just?
Well, we
They're
can't.
not touching that.
We can't do Phoenix because Fox beat it so much. They beat that dead horse so hard. Like it was nothing but like a pile of dust, and they were still beating it.
A reboot. They're like, let's do a reboot, but then ended the exact same way.
Oh my god! Why would you do Dark Phoenix again? They ruined so many good storylines that we can't do now. Great.
You did it twice. You did it twice bad, and then you did it the same. I don't understand that concept. It's stupid. But we are here to talk about Captain America.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Yes.
Hydra's aircraft, the future machine that they were flying around, the one that Cap died in, was based on an actual German World War II concept. Obviously, they didn't build the thing, but apparently they had a concept for some fancy flying machine. And there's no way you were going to do this in 1942. Let's be real. That is what they based the design of the Hydra thing from.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm gonna say this one for last. This was the last film produced by Paramount Pictures, and then after that, Disney bought out the rights to the Avengers and Iron Man 3.
But our Avengers still have Paramount at the beginning, don't it?
It does. So I don't know. Maybe Disney didn't buy it out, but
I think
it wasn't
distribution rights probably.
right. I don't know. All right. So, the comic book version of Captain America's shield is made both of antimanium and vibranium. So, because of rights, they couldn't make it out of antimanium. They had to leave that part out. The antimanium would have made the shield nearly invincible. In the movies, the shield is not that invincible.
Yeah, before the comic fans get mad at us, is adamantium.
Oh, I'm sorry. Adamantium. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever. The thing that Wolverine's claws is made of.
Adamantium, not Adamaniac.
I didn't say no Animaniacs. Whatever. They couldn't use it because of rights.
Yeah, so it was just vibranium.
So it was just vibranium. So, like, that would have made the shield invincible. So, like, in the movies, his shield isn't invincible, right?
Nope.
Yeah, because Iron Man destroyed it, right? And then so did Black Panther.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Iron Man didn't destroy it. When did Iron Man destroy it?
Isn't that how it ended up cut in half?
No, Thanos destroyed it.
Thanos cut it in half.
Thanos cut it in half? What
Yeah.
happened in Civil War? Did Iron Man just take it from him?
He just took it.
Okay.
Yeah, he just gave it to him. Well, he said you don't deserve that shield, then he dropped it and just left it.
Yeah.
Captain America, I'm sorry. Just punch him in the face. You gonna let somebody take your toys?
It was a symbol that he was no longer Captain America.
It was like my
How you
dad.
gonna let
made
somebody
that.
take your stuff?
He said his
We're gonna
dad
have this
made
conversation when we watch this movie. I don't care. It's mine now.
He did have it for like 70 years, though.
Hey, no, we're gonna talk about this.
I think.
I have some issues with this.
I think by that time it's his. Like after a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, you can't have it, man. 'cause my
Hey, what
dad
happened to
is-
no take backs?
No take back. No
Yeah.
backsies.
No,
no,
Tony
they-
Stark is a spoiled brat.
No backsies though. She called it.
Hey.
So
They didn't have anything like that in the 40s. Captain America had no idea what he was talking about.
so interesting in the comics, adamantium is like it's a metal that I believe they were trying to recreate vibranium,
Okay.
and that's where adamantium came from.
Okay.
So it's an imperfect recreation, but it has the property of, it doesn't have the vibration properties, but it has the property of, after being cooled, being indestructible.
Yeah. Well, now that they, I guess they can't go back. I was like, oh, but now that they own it, can they go back to making the shield what it's supposed to be?
Just make a new shield. Like maybe Falcon gets a one made out of adamantium and vibranium.
Yep. I think they should do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, have somebody destroy the shield again. Like he fights someone and someone's strong enough to destroy the vibranium shield.
Who's that going to be? He's
Oh boy.
no one.
I don't know. Juggernaut? No, he's not Juggernaut.
No.
I don't know, dude. It's got to be somebody from outer space. Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer can't fight Captain America. I don't like it. No, same movie. I don't like it.
Will destroy Captain America.
Okay, I don't know, dude.
I don't like it. All right, we'll come up with something. Yeah, they should add that back in now that they have those rights. All right, nitpicks. So I don't really have one, but I'm going to bring it up under here.
Okay.
He could have turned that plane around, right?
He definitely could have turned the plane around.
Right. So I'm guessing he was saying that he's like, there's no time. The bomb wasn't on a timer. I guess he's saying he couldn't land the plane without detonating the bomb. But how does that make sense? Why couldn't you? It didn't make any sense.
If you land the
That's
plane,
not how bombs work.
He had to crash into it. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand. I did not under. It's just the dumbest thing. I mean, like, I guess you had to kill him because you have to kill him. Duh. But I don't know. They could have came up with something without so many holes in it.
Yeah, that's why I like that
Maybe
they had.
just got the flu and then they have no cure for the flu. Like, oh man, Captain America.
No, Captain America can't get sick. In the movie, he said he can't get drunk, so he won't get sick.
Yeah, that's why I wish this scene was actually an Endgame where they had Rhodey questioning the fact of why he had to crash the plane. Because, yeah, it makes sense. It's like, why? Didn't make any sense. I would agree. I don't really have any other nitpicks besides that. Everything else seemed to work for me in the movie. Oh, no. Why did the doctor only come up with enough serum to make one person? He didn't have any extras laying around? Like,
why would you have just enough? And how come he didn't have any notes where, like, 70 years later, they're still trying to recreate this thing? Did this guy leave nothing behind? It makes no sense.
It made no sense.
Top of his head. Like, he thought of it and just did it together.
No, you're a scientist. Yeah.
That's not how you science.
That's not how you science?
It's not. It's not how you science.
I don't think that's an action word.
It is now.
Yep. We've made science a verb.
Okay, off topic. So I was watching the show today, right? It made me so mad. So these people wanted to poison the water at the water plant, right? And they're like, oh, how do we shut the plant down? And they're like, we can't. The filtration thingy. And I'm like, that's not how that works. It made me so mad that they were so wrong about how to turn this plant off. I couldn't take it. It was so bad.
Okay, that's only because you're an engineer. Nobody else noticed that.
It didn't make any sense. And I'm like, just no. Honestly, you could just press a button. But whatever. It made me angry.
They needed plot, okay?
It was a stupid plot. That's not how it works.
What about that kid that they pressed in the water?
Oh my gosh.
Why don't you just keep the kid? Keep the kid, now you got a hostage. Once you put him in the water, now you don't have a hostage anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. So when he was chasing the Hydra agent that had the singular vial of the serum that was left over because the doctor didn't, like, you would make a bunch of that, right? I know you gotta test it and all, but you would make enough so you didn't have just one vial left over afterwards.
You don't make one of anything.
But
like, you're doing something special. Like, you make 2 cakes just in case one doesn't turn out right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for events, they definitely do, right?
Yeah.
So when he's chasing the Hydra agent and he runs out of bullets, and he had a hostage, instead he throws him into the water. Like, you still had this kid as hostage. Like, that left him open to attack you.
Yeah. Like, why did you get rid of your hostage?
And the kid could swim, so
yeah.
So Captain didn't even have to save the kid. It's so stupid. Yeah. Oh no. Incidentally, that guy is afraid of water. So it took them forever to shoot that scene because he was afraid of water.
Oh, he couldn't jump in the water?
Yeah, I'm like, why not just use a body double? Like, just like, why make me get in this water?
Actually, he wasn't even important. That whole character could have been a stuntman. Like, you didn't have to hide his face or anything.
Like, why do we make this guy suffer for this scene?
Yeah. Just pick one of the stuntmen that can swim and say, hey, you're going to be a Hydra agent.
I'm like, jump in the water. I'm scared of water. Can we use a stunt double? Jump in the water.
Maybe they shot the other scenes already and they didn't want to do reshoots.
Nope. Just mean.
Just be one of those scenes where they where the stunt double's in and you can clearly tell it's the stunt double.
Exactly. That's exactly what they need to
Like
do.
he jumps in the water and then all of a sudden it's a black guy jumping in the water. It's like, hang on. That is clearly not the person. All right, but I think that's all the nitpicks. This movie didn't have a lot.
Yeah, no, it didn't have a lot. Best quotes. I think he's still skinny.
He's still skinny. I'm not kissing you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kiss you.
If you have something else to say,
he said, please feel free to keep it to yourself.
yeah. So if you have something else to say, please feel free to keep it to yourself. It's perfect. I have to remember that so I can say that to people.
Alright, I had that one.
The scene with the shield, it was like, what you think? And then she shoots at him and was like, yes, I think it works.
Yeah.
You could have killed him, man. Like he know that was coming.
Oh man, let's go back to nitpicks. I'm sorry, we forgot to talk about all the sexual harassment that was in this movie.
Yeah, they include that just because it was
harassment there.
because it was the 40s and it was okay in quotation marks. It was never okay. Never okay.
What were we talking about? It was so messed up.
Like the lady reading the newspaper.
Oh yeah. And she
"You're
just
talking
kisses
now."
him.
I'm like, yo, what's your deal? Calm down.
And then she just yanked him up over there and started slapping him down. I think you can just do that.
It's like, man, you catch your weight.
Resist? No, he did not.
Hey,
We all
But-
could have resisted.
But you can't use that as a rule.
it's not the rule, not at all.
Just because
That was
there's no
definitely-
resistance does not make that not sexual harassment. She
Right, she
sexually
didn't
harassed him.
Yeah, she didn't ask him. Like, at least be like, can I kiss you now? She was just like, oh, you a captain now? You famous now. And I was just like, okay.
He might have feared for his
Let's
life.
make some babies. Really?
He could have.
I mean, come on, like, all right, if it's Chris Evans in real life and some woman just came up to him like, oh, I want to kiss you now, like, that's straight up sexual harassment, though. We laugh about it in the movie because it's funny and it's fine, but
it depends on what she looked like. He might have been all right with it.
ain't he married? Oh, no, he's not married, is he?
He's not. No, he's not.
Oh, it's probably not going to be sexual harassment. It's
He
fine.
might not have a problem with it. He'd be like, all right, this is cool. I love fame. See?
Right. It was very bold on her part to assume that he was just going to go along with it.
What was the other part where we said it was? Oh, Peggy Carter.
Grabbing his chest. Yeah.
That was Haley Atwell actually sexually harassing Chris Evans.
Yes, that was her real reaction to him.
Yeah, you didn't give that interesting fact. Do you care to explain to the audience?
Okay, so in the movie, when he comes out of the pod from just turning into the super soldier, and you see his new Captain America body, he's bigger, he's huge, whatever. So in there, he's talking to Peggy Carter, and she's like, how do you feel? And in the scene, she reaches for his chest. That was not in the script. That was her real reaction to seeing Chris Evans for the first time. Because she had not seen him for, like that. So that was her legit real reaction, and they left it in the movie.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
If this was
They
flipped
talk about
around,
that.
people are going to get mad
Yes.
at me. People are going to get mad at me. If this was flipped around, people would have had a
Yeah,
problem.
you put a skinny woman in there, and then she come out with this body, and some dude just walking through and touch her chest. Yeah, it's over for that guy. We will never see him again. We will never
It
see him
should
again.
be. Is it a double standard? Yes, it is. But some double standards need to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would agree. You might need that double standard because
You definitely need that double
men as a whole,
I say so too.
men as a whole are a bit worse than women. So
They weigh. Well, actually, I don't know. There's a lot of forward women nowadays, man. Like they have no boundaries.
Like the girl that just straight kissed Captain America. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, he was bold, no boundaries, nothing.
Yeah. We lost 50% of our audience after this segment. That's okay. All right. So is it time to rate the movie?
Yes.
All right. I would say I pay for that.
Yes, I would agree. I'll pay for that.
I pay for that.
All right.
Dan and Derek.
One time. I say I'd watch it while folding. No, I was playing.
I'm like, gasp, what?
I was about to riot. Like, what?
What do you mean?
No, I definitely pay for that. I definitely pay for that.
Yeah, definitely an enjoyable movie. I actually had a good time watching it yesterday. That was pretty fun.
Huh. Yeah, I feel like I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed watching Iron Man again.
Yeah. Can't say
I've
this.
seen this movie multiple times. I was still interested.
Right, yeah. It's like the 10th time I've seen this movie.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now when we get to Avengers, which is probably going to be like the 100th time I've seen Avengers. But that's
Yeah, definitely
right.
seen Avengers a lot of times.
The Avengers word for word.
Mm-hmm.
Just about.
Yeah.
Oh, can we go back to nitpicks for a second? I know we ended it. but
Sure.
Why didn't Odin intervene when Hydra was playing around with the Tesseract?
That's a good question. I said he didn't find it really important. Like, I don't think Odin cared if humans mess with the Tesseract. He was worried about more powerful people doing stuff with it. Because, yeah, think about it. The humans, even though they had it all this time, they never did anything really but make a power source out of it.
Yeah, but what if Hydra succeeded? Like, those weapons was disintegrating people.
Maybe he didn't care if humans destroyed themselves.
Okay, because, I mean, they acted real fast when Loki got his hands on it.
When they had it.
Well, who?
Because Loki knew, like, basically everything he could do.
True.
Loki could have, like, done too much with it.
I said when the Frost
Right.
Giants had it.
No, the Frost Giants never had it.
Frost Giants didn't have it.
When the war in the beginning.
That was the
Talking about how they got it.
casket of ancient winters, my dude.
That was not the Tesseract.
Oh. Okay.
Was a blue square, but
Mhm.
it wasn't a Tesseract.
This one made things cold.
Yeah, it froze everything.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing. Odin just like he's like, oh, the humans can deal with themselves, but if it's an outside force, you know, we'll have to step in. And then we already established when we watched Thor, Odin's a horrible person. So you know, he's not a good man.
Just because in Avengers, Thor's like it belongs on Asgard. I was like, but yo, where were you in 1945?
True.
Yeah, that was just my thought. I just felt like, you know,
Why did
things going on?
Why did they leave it there anyway?
I don't know.
Like Asgard's got to do something about leaving stuff places. Left the Reality Stone on nowhere. That didn't work out. Like, come on, guys.
When we get to Infinity War, I'm going to look up the history of these stones according to the MCU to find out just what Odin was doing besides his job.
He wasn't doing anything.
He ain't feel like going to get it. He was like, man, we got to do everything. So he was like, man, forget it. I ain't going to get that one. And he just felt that kind of way. I feel it.
All right, sorry. So that was my last thing I should have brought up earlier.
Okay. Well, that's our review of Captain America, the first Avenger. Meaning our next movie is The Avengers. Yay! No, we really are excited about that. Yeah.
I have been waiting for that since you said we were doing this.
Yeah,
I haven't
Avengers
actually
is
seen
going
the
to be
Avengers
good.
in a minute. It's been a minute since I watched it.
Yeah, I watched it earlier this year, like when I was sick.
I think it's been a while. I think since the last time it's been on Amazon or Netflix, I think it's the last time I watched it.
Yes, show it all the time. So I probably have seen it 5 times this year already.
5 times this year?
Wow.
Jeez. All right. I saw it once.
Almost once a month.
I saw it once this year.
think I seen it at all this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it this year.
I usually attempt an MCU rewatch once a year, but then I never finish it.
Really?
Because I think I tried when Endgame was coming out.
Oh, that'd be
Oh, yeah, I
easy.
did
They
that.
had schedules and everything for you.
Y'all forgot the one quote. This is my favorite one. We fought to the last man.
Ah.
Apparently not.
Evidently not.
That was a pretty solid one. That was pretty solid, yeah. It was dirty, but that was solid though. He probably shouldn't have lied though. Probably shouldn't have lied. You can't just lie like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to our review of Captain America: The First Avenger. If you want to check out more of our podcasts and reviews, you can check us out wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, we do movie commentaries. We did one for this movie, and it will be up on YouTube, so you can check out 3D Rivals on YouTube. You can also reach us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/3D Rivals, or reach out to us at our email. It is 3drivals@gmail.com. Other than that, thanks for listening, guys. Peace out.